You sit down, open a streaming platform, and swipe. Minutes pass. Dozens of titles roll across the screen, yet nothing gets selected. The physical world presents the same friction. You stand in an aisle staring at entire shelves dedicated to minor variations of mint toothpaste, unable to grab one quickly and walk away. A single person today interacts with an unprecedented volume of options. We encounter more products, services, and content in a single month than past generations experienced in a lifetime. Logically, an endless increase in consumer options should represent pure progress. Every new platform and product line offers another avenue to find exactly what you want. But despite the assumption that maximum options equal a better life, this abundance rarely empowers us. Instead, it creates immediate hesitation and confusion at the point of decision. This diagram shows the historical promise of progress. A baseline of choice connects to personal freedom, which ultimately produces human satisfaction. But in the current reality, that final box shatters. Straightforward choices break down into complex evaluations, extending the time required to make purchases. What should be a brief selection process now leaves a lingering physical sense of exhaustion. The sheer volume of modern consumerism promised to make daily life effortless. Instead, the basic routine of choosing has become heavy. If maximizing options is the ultimate expression of freedom, we have to ask why exercising that freedom now feels like mandatory work. Picking between two items requires a simple binary comparison. Evaluating 50 items requires an entirely different cognitive process. The direct link between two choices multiplies into 50 distinct circles, mapping every possible comparison point. As data bottlenecks and the chaotic cross-in lines vibrate under the strain, secondary behaviors kick in. We open a dozen tabs, read countless reviews, and constantly second-guess. The primary obstacle facing a consumer today is not a deficit of information. The obstacle is a suffocating abundance of possibilities. The brain's limited resources drain rapidly just by mapping the minor variations of a single product. A task demanding almost zero physical effort creates a massive cognitive load. Companies rarely compete by offering fewer choices. The standard strategy is to multiply variations. Every new feature, upgraded subscription tier, or bundled package is a rational corporate attempt to capture a very specific segment of consumer attention. This multiplication reveals a larger truth about the marketplace. The system is not broken. It is functioning exactly as designed to maximize engagement. Digital algorithms amplify this effect. Platforms constantly present personalized alternatives and related items, accelerating the volume of choice far beyond physical limitations. No individual company intended to overwhelm the user. In isolation, each new feature or suggested video appeared entirely logical, but the collective result of these rational business decisions is a radically saturated marketplace that completely overpowers human cognitive limits. Infinite alternatives create a subtle psychological shift. With thousands of variations available, it becomes incredibly easy to imagine a superior option exists somewhere else. This line graph plots motivation against action. As the search for perfection rises steeply, decision delay climbs with it. The goal isn't finding a good choice, but avoiding an imperfect one. Because perfection is impossible, the lines loop endlessly, delaying decisions infinitely. This behavior is not a sudden epidemic of personal indecisiveness. It is a direct response to a heavy environmental pressure. The modern marketplace successfully generated unlimited opportunity, but simultaneously weaponized our innate biological fear of making the wrong choice. The true cost of the system rarely shows up on a bank statement. The real cost is the massive loss of time, energy, and personal confidence. Mundane tasks that used to take minutes drain out of the glass, forming a tangled knot. Simple purchases morph into grueling, multi-hour research projects. The modern marketplace is not actively restricting freedom, it is flooding that freedom with paralyzing volume. We stand completely still while the environment demands constant evaluation. Daily life now requires us to compare and optimize every subscription, service, and product. The ultimate tragedy of modern life is not a lack of freedom. It's spending all our mental energy trying to figure out what to do with it.